I'm Erick Stakelbeck, and America's largest city, our financial capital, is in deep trouble. And what's happening in New York City right now could have major implications for every American. What we're seeing is an unholy alliance of Islamists and socialists rise to political power. These anti-American radicals are no longer just fringe rabble-rousers and street agitators. They're now heading to the halls of Congress. On Tuesday, three of the most extreme candidates for office that we've ever seen in the United States won their elections in New York. All three were endorsed by the smiling face of Islamo-communism, NYC Mayor Zoran Mamdani. In New York's 13th congressional district, we have Daria Avila Chevalier. Like Mamdani, she's a member of the Democratic Socialist of America. She's also a convert to Islam. And folks, if we're a nation of laws, I really don't know how she'll be permitted into Congress. I say that because each member of the U.S. Congress takes an oath to protect and uphold the Constitution. Yet Chevalier founded an organization called Columbia University Apartheid Divest, which called for the eradication of America. She also tweeted about using the American flag as a napkin, called the United States a bleeping disgrace, and wants to abolish all police. In short, she doesn't seem like someone who's going to protect and uphold the U.S. Constitution. After all, it's kind of hard to do that when you're openly calling for America to be eradicated. Now, another big winner in Tuesday's elections, Claire Valdes, prevailed in the Democrat primary for New York's 7th congressional district. She's a radical pro-transgender activist, and surprise, she's all about freeing Palestine, which, by the way, doesn't even exist. Watch.
So are we ready to free Palestine? Are we ready to abolish ICE? Are we ready to win Medicare for all, housing for all, and unions for all?
Again, both Valdes and Chevalier are favored to win in the general election this November and take seats in the U.S. House. We're talking impact on a national level here, not just in New York City. Another Mamdani-endorsed radical leftist, Brad Lander, also won his Democrat primary in New York's 10th congressional district and is likely headed to Congress as well. And then there's the Mamdani-endorsed Aber Quaz, who's the Democrat nominee for a state Senate seat in New York. She says 9/11 was all America's fault. Watch.
The system of capitalism and racism and white supremacy, etc., have all, and Islamophobia have all been used, to colonize lands, right, to take resources from other people. And so this is like a long trajectory, and we're just seeing the manifestations of that continuation, right, with 9/11. And so a lot of times when people are asking us to respond about, attack, right, if you look back, like, historically, right, a lot of us come from lands that were colonized, lands where wars are being waged, right, a lot of times because of U.S. policy or the policies in Europe. And so I find that we can connect over that, but then also that the idea that we have to apologize for, like, a terror attack that, like, a couple of people did, and then there is no apologies or reparations for genocides and for slavery, etc., is something that I kind of find, like, reprehensible.
What's really reprehensible is a group of Islamic terrorists killing nearly 3,000 Americans on 9/11. But the kind of madness you just heard Aber Quaz spout is now becoming the norm among New York City's leading political figures. And they have ambitions far beyond the Empire State. Joining us now to break it down is Brigitte Gabriel, founder and chairman of a great organization called Act for America. Brigitte, always great to see you. Hey, you've been sounding the alarm about this for a while. Now we see it all coming. I don't want to say coming to fruition, but becoming a reality, I should say. And one of these candidates endorsed by Zoran Mamdani in particular, Brigitte, I find interesting, Daria Chevalier. She's a hardcore socialist, but also a convert to Islam. Here she was sharing a bit about that and how she plans to advance the cause of Islam in Congress. Watch.
Seeing how all of my friends who were showing up to organizing, who are Muslim, were showing up in the space, and the grace and love and passion that they had in these spaces of social justice, that really pushed me to join the faith, and wanting to make sure that we are reflecting that that I'm reflecting that in every space that I'm in, and that, inshallah, if we make it to Congress, that we're reflecting that in the halls of power as well.
Brigitte, this really seems strategic. They know exactly what they're doing. They're targeting New York City, our largest city and financial capital, for a reason. The Islamists and the socialists have an agenda here.
They are coming together, working together. And what we just looked at was an unemployed 32-year-old who just won the primary. This is who they are putting up. Yeah, you think of AOC and we used to laugh. Oh, she used to be a bartender and look at her now, so influential in Congress. That's exactly what they're doing. They are getting these young people and they are running them. And by the way, everybody's focused on New York right now. Oh my gosh, they had 3 for 3. Eric, 35 socialist candidates won the primaries since the beginning of the year in the last 6 months. 35, and they have 75 running in addition. So this is what we are looking at. And this is not just contained in New York.
Yeah.
We're looking at New Jersey, Arizona, Ohio, Los Angeles, Georgia. This is happening nationwide.
Yeah.
Sadly, on our side, we only wake up when we hear the news shoved in our face, when we see, oh my gosh, on one night, the socialists took over in New York. Well, you know what? They've been taking over primaries all across the nation since the beginning of the year. But we have been asleep, and this is a wake-up call for conservative and Republicans and freedom-loving people to wake up and say, we will not allow America to be transformed under our eyes. Yeah. Time to wake up, time to make sure that we are organized before the midterm, because this midterm is going to basically set the direction for the country for generations to come. Yeah. And by the way, the Democratic Socialist Party of America, the movement, they are now at 100,000 members. So this is not just some fringe, theoretical groups just growing. They are organized, they are laser focused, and they are on the march.
Brigitte, so well said. It's a movement, it's a wave. The mayor of Seattle, for instance, is a socialist. The mayor-elect in D.C., also a socialist. It's not isolated to New York City. Key point there. And by the way, all these socialist candidates and winners, very Islam-friendly. Take one of the winners in New York, Brad Lander, on Tuesday night. Brigitte, we actually have a clip of him praying at a radical mosque in Queens where one of the imams called for death to the infidel. Take a listen.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Kulhu Allahu Ahad, Allahu Samad, Lam Yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Thank you very much for welcoming me today.
Brigitte, I almost want to laugh, but it's far too troubling and disturbing. This is a non-Muslim leftist reciting Islamic prayers in a mosque. This is madness, and this is the road the left is going down. At the end of the day, whether they know it or not, Islam will devour them, right? That's kind of how history has gone.
Well, not only will devour them, the remaining prayer that he just opened, this is the Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Rabbul Alameen. And I'm not going to go through it, okay? Yeah. But the last sentence is about the cursed people, the Jews. So you have dimbats like him who don't understand what they're reciting, don't understand their religion. And that's exactly what the Islamists are counting on. They are counting on the useful idiots like him to advance their agenda. And you've got the people like him, who's also Jewish, by the way.
That's right.
You've got people like him who are reaching out to the Islamic community because they want the Islamic vote. They want to show how tolerant they are, how inclusive they are. We are on your side. We have seen this play over again and again in the past. People refuse to learn from history. And that's exactly, Eric, why we say those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And so when you look at Hitler, a lot of Jews elected Hitler because they thought, he's going to be good and we're all inclusive and we are all fine. And look what he did. And we are now saying the same movie playing where Jewish people in America are supporting the advancement of the Islamic movement in the United States, the same Islamic movement who is devoted to basically, if they can eliminate every single living, breathing Jew, they will. The Islamists have a plan because they want to establish their presence in the United States and take control, just like what they did in Europe. They are working together with the leftists and sharing the same end goal.
Destroying Judeo-Christian Western civilization. That's the end game. Thank God we have organizations like Act for America, folks. I mean, I think there's 250,000 Muslims in Houston alone. We have hundreds of mosques throughout Texas, more than most states in the nation. And look, you said earlier, this is not just New York City, an isolated case. Texas, kind of the reddest of the red in terms of its politics, a very conservative state, of course, and yet Islam making inroads here. Again, it seems strategic on their part.
Strategic, and it's also the apathy in Texas. And I shouldn't call it apathy. I started going to Texas and talking to Texans since 2007, Eric. I remember speaking in Houston, sounding the alarm in 2007. And everywhere I spoke in Texas, I would go to Houston, Austin, Abilene, Dallas, everywhere I spoke, and people would say, those Arabs, we don't care what they do. They're really, they just keep to themselves. They've got their own shawarma restaurant. Oh, and there's this great restaurant in Dallas. You've got to try it out, Brigitte. And nobody could believe the warning when I was sounding the alarm, because Americans just want to live and let live. The people in Texas is so big. People are so patriotic. They thought, you know what? We're a welcoming country. We don't care what these Arabs do over there. Let them do whatever they want to do. And here we are today. Those Arabs that they didn't care about are now a mega force. Remember what they wanted to do with Epic City in Dallas. And look what's happening in Houston right now. I mean, watching these scenes out of Houston, you would think you're looking at Europe somewhere, maybe Birmingham, in the UK or something where the Islamists have taken over. But this is actually Houston. And here's what happens. When Muslims are 5 to 10%, they have electoral impact. But when they are 20 to 25%, then they run their own candidates and they get them elected. And this is where they are in Texas. And this is why you are starting to see people in Texas waking up and becoming more concerned, because they are realizing, you know what? You come to America to adopt American culture, to be a part of the American fabric. What we just saw marching down the street in Houston is not the culture of America. This is something you would see marching downtown Iran. Yeah. This is something you would see marching downtown Egypt or Saudi Arabia, not in the United States. This is not American culture. We don't wrap people in black from head to toe, constrain human rights, treat women as second-class citizens, have different set of laws that is not compatible with the U.S. Constitution. That's not what we want. We are not against Islam as a religion, but we are against people coming into our culture and trying to transform our culture into what they left. If they liked it so much, why are they here? Why are they trying to change our culture?
Great point. And look, Brigitte, you've said, once they grow in numbers, they become a powerful voting bloc. We see it in New York now. Yep. We've seen it in Europe, that's too. Right. Only about a minute left, Brigitte. The Danish government, of all places, is now calling on a ban of the Islamic call to prayer in Denmark. Could Europeans finally be waking up? A little less than a minute left.
They are finally waking up because they are on the verge of death. And right now they are flailing, they are struggling, they are screaming, we don't want to die, we want to save ourselves. They are at midnight, and that's why they are waking up. Hopefully we in the United States will never get to that point. That's exactly why we, with my organization, Act for America, we are mobilizing the nation. We have chapters nationwide. Over 325 chapters were started since the beginning of this year. We need you by our side. Go to actforamerica.org right now. Click on Join Us, start a chapter in your community. I want you to know that just this Tuesday, next Tuesday in Congress, I will be in Congress. We are introducing a federal national bill to ban Sharia law from taking place in the United States. This is what Act for America does. Go to actforamerica.org. Join us, become a member, start a chapter. We need you by our side.
Love it. Brigitte, keep it up. You're doing God's work, folks. actforamerica.org.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an upload. And tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. And don't forget to share your thoughts, insights, and comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.